This is our week 1 of our beginners working out at home program. I'll put a link in the description that you can find the playlist and start off from the beginning and move along with us. Just a quick safety note, always want to work within your pain-free range of motion. We don't want to force anything. The goal is to make you feel better, not to beat you up, okay? In trying to think about in this YouTube format how to best provide you the best experience, what I've landed on is I thought if I just video all 7 days, and then you can come back to this video and I'll separate them by chapters. You can go down to the description. If you're on day 1, click it, day 2, click it, and it'll start you off fresh for that day. Please comment below and let me know how you like this format as far as having all the days together, or if you'd prefer to just have it just day 1, day 2, if that makes it more simple, comment below and let me know. As the program goes for week 1, we're gonna have 2 days and we're just gonna alternate between the 2. So day 1, day 3, day 5, and day 7 are all gonna be the same. Day 2, day 4, day 6 are gonna be the same. But to get you the best user experience, we'll link those below, and you can just, that way you're able to log on to your YouTube, click the chapter in the description below what day you're on, and then just follow along. Make it super easy for you. Our big focus is building consistency. So we're gonna try to keep it as simple and consistent as possible. My recommendation to help you with the consistency would be to print out a blank calendar, put it on your refrigerator, or if you already have a calendar, you're gonna mark off on that every day that you do your practice. You could do this virtually, but there is some science to actually writing it down that's going to commit you a little bit more. Go onto your preferred search engine, type in free blank calendar, print it out. After your practice, mark off that you did it. Please like, comment, and share. That's how other people will find this. Let's get to it. All right, day 1, let's get started. For your comfort, you might want to have a nice soft carpet or rug, or these foam mats work out pretty good. I like these. Or you could use a yoga mat or just lay on the floor, whatever. First and foremost, we don't want any pain. Anything that hurts, we don't want to do. If something doesn't feel right, go ahead and look back and see how was the technique, how to set up, try it again. Often that will resolve the situation. If you do it again and it hurts, don't do it. Also, some of the stuff we're gonna do, you might feel good in certain ranges of motion and other range of motion don't feel good. Our goal is never to force it. Always work within your pain-free range of motion, okay? So you're gonna get on the floor safely. Lower back is pushed into the floor, staring at the ceiling. Gonna take one leg, and I'm putting the ankle basically on top of this leg that's on the ground. And then from this position, I want to grab the ankle, and I'm not going to push on my knee, but on this inside of my thigh. I'm going to push it down and get a really good stretch on this hip. As we're going along, anytime we're doing a stretch, if you just say, "Ooh, that's tight," and you start taking short, shallow breaths, it's not going to help. You want to take in long, slow breaths, especially a sniff in your nose, and then out. The out is a place you can exaggerate. We're going to hold this stretch for 20 seconds. And then we'll switch and get the other side. Same thing, holding here. Nice gentle push. All right, now we're going to get into a kneeling position here. So Most of us spend a lot of time sitting throughout our days. So this I've heard called an anti-sitting stretch. So we're going to do our hip flexor stretch. So you're going to put 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and ideally I'm set up, my knees are in line with my hips. I don't want to be out real wide or, on top of each other. If you think about each hip is its own lane or its own train track. And I put this foot and knee on this hip's train track, and I put this foot and knee on this hip's train track. From this position, I want to wiggle my toes forward. So if I'm looking over my knees, I can see my toes. And now I'm wanting to get a good stretch here. To make sure I get a good stretch, the leg that is the foot that's back, this hip is where I want to get a good stretch. If you tense up your glute, it'll allow the front to relax. So one thing that can help is punch it a little bit. That way you can kind of tighten up here. You tighten up this glute, and that will allow this to stretch. And we're just gently going to push forward. See, my knee's not going up, my heel's not coming up, my heel stays down. So a little tension here, slightly reach forward, and we're going to hold this for 20 seconds. It's a little weird that you're hitting yourself, but the idea is you're helping loosen up your body. So same setup here, wiggling my toes forward so that way I can see them when I'm just looking past my knee. The alternative would be if you didn't do this, this would set you up in a position where you probably would want to lift your heel. So wiggle that foot forward. So same thing here. Now the other leg is the one. So we're going to reach back and tighten up that glute, gently push forward, and we're going to hold it for 20. Still sucking in air, sniffing in air through the nose, exaggerating the exhale. If you have any kids, I'm sure they'll hit you, so you don't have to hit yourself. That's an option. Next, we're going to do our doorway chest stretch. So I'm trying to line up elbow and shoulder like this on both sides. Now, for some people, this might be enough of a stretch for you, and just hang out here, sniff in your breath through your nose, exhale through your mouth, 20 seconds. If you need a little extra, you just step 1 foot forward, kind of reach into it as tolerated. For our next stretch, we're going to use either a desktop, you could use a countertop, you could use the back of your couch. You just want something that you're not going to pull over and fall and hurt yourself. You can start off here. I have a pillow set up for my knees. So naturally in this position, I don't want to exaggerate my lower back arch. Your lower back has an arch. I want you to think about tucking your hips underneath your torso. Your arms are up here, and you're just leaning back and getting a stretch in the back of your legs and a stretch in the part of your back that's around your armpit and mid-back, not your lower back. So if you try to do this and then you feel, man, it's an exaggeration of your lower back, try to set up in a different place, or maybe think about skipping it if you keep feeling it in your lower back, because that's not what we want. You can start off with your arms like this. Think about sitting your butt back towards your heels, keeping your arms up here. Sniff in the nose. Exaggerated exhale. So in this position, I'm stacking my elbow and shoulder on top of the wrist. I like you to have your wrist straight, but if there's any pain and you need to slightly rotate your wrists out, that's okay. If you need to, do what you need to. Remember, our goal is no pain. You're on the tops of your feet here. And then what you want to do is now you look ahead, and then now think about sitting back like you're trying to sit your butt towards your heels. If they come nowhere near it, it's okay. Drift back forward. Want to keep focusing ahead with the eyes and the head. Rocking back. If you rock back and you go, ooh, you know, I need to sit here for a second, that's fine too. Spend a little time here if you need to. You might notice that maybe you get here, and that's fine, and here, something doesn't feel right. Don't force it. Just go within your pain-free range of motion. Once you kind of feel around and feel, okay, you kind of have the idea of where your wheelhouse is for your pain-free range of motion, then we're going to do 25. Excellent. And for our next movement, we are going to get you safely to your back. For this one, we can keep your legs bent like this. And I want you to pick your head up, bring your chin to your chest, and then nice and comfortable in the back. In this position, I want you to try, instead of just being here looking at the ceiling, I'm trying to reach my head up a little bit. I'm getting a little stretch here, and I'm trying to look above my head with my eyes. So, reach up, chin toward your chest, reach back, trying to look above your head. So, it's not just this. It's trying to reach as long as it's pain-free. Once we get set, we're going to do 24. This is 1. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. Always staying in your pain-free range of motion. If you get dizzy or something doesn't feel right, you could always stop, take a break. It's no rush. Take your time, enjoy them. And that's day 1. Good job. Day 1 is over. Virtual high five. Get your calendar and mark off that you're done with day 1. See ya tomorrow for day 2. All right, let's get day 2 started. So for day 2, we are going to do all of our stretches and our 2 movements from a seated position. Now, most of us sit down too often, so I want to get into the more floor and standing type of movements, but I want to ease into it. And if for some reason you do need to do some seated stuff, I want to make sure that is available for you. All right, so let's get to it. With all of our stretches, we don't want to be hunched over, okay? So make sure you have good seated posture. Our first one we're going to do is our hip stretch. So this couch I'm on here has a tendency to let you slouch forward, so I want to make sure I sit up tall. I'm going to take one leg, bring it over the other, so my ankle is on top of the other leg. I like to grab the ankle, and then I'm going to gently push down here. Now, real quick, a thing on stretching, especially if you're very tight, if you start taking quick, short breaths, it's not going to help you stretch out, and often people will start holding their breath, which is not a good thing. We want to take thoughtful breath, if you can, in your nose, and then so you're getting like a sniff in, and then you exaggerate your exhale. A nice cadence here. So got the ankle. If this is a stretch for you, just let this be your stretch. If you need a little extra, I think knife hand down my thigh. I'm on my inside of my leg, not my knee, and I'm just gently pushing down. And we're gonna hold it for 20. And we're gonna hold it for 20 seconds. Trying to be aware of not letting my shoulders drift forward like this. I'm still sitting with good posture. Excellent. And now we'll switch over and get the other leg. Grabbing the ankle again. Need that little extra. Pressing on the inside, not the knee, inside of the leg. Just pushing down to create more of a stretch. The side that you're pushing down, that hip is getting the stretch. All right. Now we're going to move on to stretch out wrists and forearms. You might spend a lot of time typing or driving or whatever, so we want to stretch this out. So the easy way you could do it is you could grab your fingers and you could just stretch like this. Again, I want to point out that pain is not our goal. We want to get a good stretch, but don't work within a pain. If this ouch hurts, do less, okay? So an easy thing, you could press it down on the couch. Arm is straight. You could press it down on your leg. Again, pain is not the goal. Stretch, same thing. Sniff in, long out. And kind of do some circles, kind of shake it out. Same thing. Now, it's probably pretty common that most of us are looking at some kind of screen or maybe a book throughout the day. So your neck tends to be doing this. So we want to try to do the opposite movement of that. Especially in the seated position, you can make sure you're in a good, comfortable seated position. You can take advantage of the backrest here. And you just want to reach back, no pain. Your pain for your range of motion. Reach back and let a little gravity take place. And we're going to hold this for 20 also, as long as it's no pain. gently come out of that. Thinking about just bringing chin down. Excellent. Now the next one is just going to depend on your shoulder. So we're going to try to open up the chest. So you can have your hands like this. If this hurts, we don't want to do it, or we want to try to modify it. You don't have to be as extreme. So think about elbows together. We want to do the opposite of that. So think about reaching elbows away from each other. My hands are just gently, fingertips gently on the back of the head. So the opposite of this. We don't want the elbows together. We want to reach them out. So you might be here, as long as it's no pain. That's perfect. Just think about reaching elbows apart. Get to wherever the point is a good stretch, but no pain for you, and hold it for 20. All right, you can kind of shake that out. So for our first movement, we're going to do some opposite knee taps. So you're just going to start off right hand, left leg, left hand, left leg. As you get going, nice and fluid range of motion. If you can pick the foot up off the floor to where your knee comes up, that's an extra bonus. Make sure on these that you're sitting up tall, you're not hunched over. If you want to lean against the back support, that's okay. If you want to make it more difficult, you can reach up and take your back off the back support, but still keep that good seated posture. We're going to go for 24. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And then the last one we're going to do is our side to side neck stretch. So again, we're sitting up, good posture. If you need to rely on the backrest, that's okay. But when you can, we want to make sure we come away from it. We're going to reach your ear towards your shoulder. And in the beginning, if there is a shift in a movement of your whole torso to the side, that's okay. We would like to get to where you can sit up tall like this, reach, and have minimal shift of the whole body. And we're going to go for 24 of these, as long as it's pain-free. Now, if you can just do this, and that's a stretch, but this is painful, then just stay within your stretch, no pain. Excellent. High five. Enjoy your day. If you're looking for something that's a little more customized for what you have access to at home and your skill level, please connect with me and we'll go over some of the online training options that I provide, and I'll put a link to my contact in the description below as well. Welcome to day 3. Let's get you started. So starting off, lying down on your back, cross your ankle over your leg, grab the ankle, gently push down on the inside of the thigh here. Sniff in the nose, exhale, exaggerated. All right, it feels great. Now we'll switch it up, switch legs, grab the ankle, press on the inside of that thigh, nice and gentle. Good stretch. All right, for the next one. Next is our hip flexor. So for this one, we're going to get in the kneeling stance. Wiggle those toes so I can see them over, wiggle those toes forward so you can see them over your knee. And then from this position, you are gonna tense up the glute on the side that is back. Gently reach forward here, getting a good stretch on this side. Excellent. Switching it up. Again, wiggling those toes forward, so looking over the knee, you can see the toes. And then from here, we tense up this glute. You can keep hitting, or you can just, like that, gentle forward. We're gonna hold for 20. Excellent. All right, next, just because of where we're set up here, I'm gonna do my back next. So I have this, to be honest, if this was a little bit higher, it would be a better position for me, but we can make this work. Setting up here, arms on top. Think about reaching butt towards your ankles, even if they're nowhere near. Here, I wanna lean down. I'm trying to get a good stretch here on the back. Like this. I don't want you to feel anything tight in your lower back. If you do, then try to find something that's a different height, or don't force that lower back tightness, okay? So that's not too bad there. Hold it for 20. Excellent, that feels great. All right, now we're gonna relocate for the doorway. We're trying to have that straight line of the elbow and the shoulder on both sides. That's a good stretch for you. Stay there. Otherwise, you can step forward. This doorway is kind of narrow, so I'm gonna spread my arm a little wider. And I'm gonna reach inside. That's a good stretch there. I'm trying to exaggerate my exhale a little bit. I hope it doesn't sound too ridiculous on the microphone. It might. Sorry if it does. All right, that's a great stretch. I love it. Finish up with our movement, get back down to the ground. We're gonna do I'll take my hat off for the head nods here. All right, again, with the head nods, what you wanna do is you're not just starting here and coming up. You wanna try, as long as it's pain-free, always working within your pain-free range of motion, you're reaching up so that more of the top of your head is on the ground and not just the flat back of your head, okay? So we come up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you been counting? I can't hear you. Just kidding. 22, 23, 24. All right, and for our last thing, we're gonna do our rocking. So we're setting up here on the tops of the feet, palms of our hands here. Starting off stacking the elbow and shoulder on top of the wrists. Hands, fingers are pointing forward if they can. If you need to rotate them out a little bit, do what you need to do to be pain-free. And then from here, just reaching your butt towards your ankles. I hope these movements are starting to make sense, starting to feel good. Maybe you can rock back a little further with your rocks today than you did on day one. That would be terrific. Hopefully the stretches feel good. Hopefully your body's starting to limber up a little bit. Now that you're getting the hang of it, you know, you already did the routine once. If you have the ability, try to do it a second time today. So today, if you want to go above and beyond, feel a little bit better, rewind. I don't think people rewind anymore, but repeat and do it again. Welcome to day 4. So doing this one in a chair to show you that you could do this in your office. Scoot a little bit away from the desk and then get it done. So we'll get right to it. We're gonna start off with our hip stretch. So ankle over this leg, holding the ankle, gently push down. You can push into the back of your seat if you need, or you can stay upright. You just don't wanna hunch over, okay? So good proud chest, good sitting posture. And we're gonna hold our stretch for 20. Good sniff if we can in the nose, and then exaggerate the exhale. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like you need a stretch, but then you do it and it feels amazing. That's great. All right, same thing, switching over. Ankle, inner leg, pressing down. I'll show you from the side also real quick. So, from the side, just like that. If you need to use the back, use the back. If you want to come away, come away. And we just don't want that. Don't do that. All right, next one we're gonna do is our forearm stretch. And for that, you can just grab your hand and do this. I prefer to do it on my leg. Just rest that hand there. Good stretch, all within your pain-free range of motion. If this hurts, you know, reevaluate it, try it a different way. If it still hurts, then skip it. Holding this for 20 also. And then I like to open and close the hand, a little rotation of the wrist, kind of shake out that stretch. Same thing on the other side. All right, and so the next one we're gonna do our pain free range of motion neck stretch. So it can be helpful to scoot up against the back, only go within your pain free range of motion. So just reaching. Once you find your good, it doesn't matter if you're here or if you're here, just find your spot and hold it for 20 seconds. Really focus on that exaggerated exhale. And then bring this up easy, nice and controlled. I don't like to do anything quick or jerky with the neck, so make sure you bring that back nice and easy. Next, we're gonna do the chest stretch. So for the chest stretch, you're trying to open up. It doesn't matter if you can do this or if you're here. We don't want it to hurt on the shoulder. So if you need to, you can even just have it here and just you're just trying to open your chest up. If you can, reach back. You can lean against that and just think about you're trying to pry your elbows away from each other. So the opposite of this, you want to pry open. Find your good stretch, and we'll hold for 20. Bring it back. If you have tight shoulders, you want to make sure you don't bring that back fast, so take your time. Next, we're going to do our 2 movements. Our knee taps is the first on the agenda here. So if you need to, lean back against the back of your chair. If you need a little more of a challenge, come away. But you want to make sure you're not slunched forward. Think about rolling your shoulders back. Good seated posture. And then from here, we're just going to do opposite. Now, if you need to, you can keep your feet on the ground. But if you can, it's nice to pick that knee up, bring the knee to the hand. Five, 6, 7, 8. Make sure these are controlled and not sloppy. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, best you can. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And then for our last movement, we're gonna work on doing our neck from side to side. Want to start with our good posture and trying to reach your ear towards your shoulder, only working within your pain-free range of motion. So reaching it. In the beginning, if you have some movement of your trunk and your torso, that's okay. Try to do your best to just move at your neck. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll give you this shot here. I like to pause in the middle. 13, 14. It just keeps me honest. 15, and not going back and forth real sloppy. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Excellent. So that concludes day 4. We got everything done. Hopefully with this being the 4th day, you're starting to feel a little looser. Maybe your body's feeling a little bit better. That would be great. Today, if you have the opportunity, a couple hours from now, if you could repeat this again, that's great. If not, if you can only get the 1 in, that's fine. But if you want a little bonus, get that 2nd time in. We're doing them in the chair, so you can just push away from the desk and do it, and then scoot back up to the desk and get back to work. All right? Have fun and be safe. Your pain-free range of motion. We'll see you tomorrow for day 5. Welcome to day 5. Hopefully you're feeling awesome, and let's get you ready to feel more awesome. So we're gonna start off on the ground here. Do your hip stretch. Grab the ankle, inside push. Find our good stretch and hold it for 20. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll switch it up. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And we'll come up. And we'll do the stretch here. Working your foot forward, remember, so that you look over your knees, see your toes. We're stretching out the leg that's back, the front of that one. So from this position, we want to tense up this glute on this side and gently press forward. And we'll hold it for 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, done. And switch it up. Wiggling those toes forward. Get some tension back here because this is the part that's getting a good stretch. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. Shoulder, elbow around the same height. I'm going to step forward onto the stair. Excellent. We're in this position. Arms are up. Scoot back as needed. I want to make sure that not feeling a strain in the lower back. Trying to get a good stretch. This part of the back, you can think about underneath the underarm, all this middle of the back, but not really the lower back. Get a good spot and hold it for 20. Mouth is like on top of the microphone. I hope it's not really ridiculous sounding. All right. And we'll do our head nods. Take the hat off for this. Remember, this is good to make it better. reach your head back more. So now that the top of your head is on the mat and not just the back of your head, if that's within your pain-free range of motion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll finish up with our rocking. So on the tops of the feet and on your hands and the top of your feet, and aiming the hips towards your heels. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Excellent. So that's day 5. Great job. I hope you're starting to feel a little looser, feel a little more in charge of your body and not the other way around. If you have the time in a few hours to run through this again so that you get it for a total of 2 times, that would be a great bonus. If you're only able to get it once, hey, once is terrific. Great job, and I will see you tomorrow for day 6. That's a high five. Welcome to day 6. Today and tomorrow, and then you'll be done with your first week. Awesome. So doing this one today just on, I guess you could call this an Ottoman. So you can do this one technically wherever you'd like. We're going to start off with the hip. It's a nice spot there. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, done. And we'll switch. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, done. We'll do our forearms. Get a nice stretch there. I'm going to do both at the same time. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. If this feels awkward, just do them one at a time. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. And then we're going to do our neck. So only within your pain-free range of motion. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this without something with a back, make sure you have something with a back. So I start off with good posture, and then I'm reaching. Once I find my good stretch, we'll start the counter for 20. And then we come back up, controlled and gently. For the chest, reaching elbows away from each other. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. Bring it back and kind of a little movement there. Help ease out of the stretch. Now we're gonna do our taps. So good position here. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, don't do this, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, done. And then lastly, we'll do our good posture, reach, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Excellent. So day 6, awesome job. Now you got day 6 done. If you want to add a bonus in a couple hours from now, run through this again. If you want to add a double bonus, run through this a third time. So to be clear, I'm not telling you to just start over right now. It'll probably be better for your body if a couple hours later you loosened it up again, and then a couple hours later you loosened it up again. So maybe you could do in the morning, midday, in the afternoon. I don't know, whatever makes sense for you and your body. Give it a try and see how it feels. See you tomorrow for day 7. Welcome to day 7. Sorry, I'm kind of whispering a little bit. It's nighttime here and everyone's asleep. But congratulations on day 7. Let's get to it. Let's start off with our stretch of the hip. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we'll switch to the other side. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, done. That's one of my favorites. All right. And I think that this angle might cut my head off, but you don't need to see my head for this stretch. So we're set up here. Wiggle those toes forward so you can see them over your knee. Get some tension on this glute here. Gently reach forward. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, done. Switch to the other side. Same thing, wiggle these toes. So when you look over your knee, you see them. And now we're gonna want tension on the other side here. Get some tension on that glute and then gently reach forward. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. Not straining the lower back. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. One, 2, 3, 4. And lastly, for our movement, we're going to do our rocking. Reach back, get set. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, Congratulations on your first week. Great job. Look forward to getting started on week number 2 with you tomorrow. Now, if you don't like the pace of the program, it's going a little too slow for you, or you have specific equipment at home that you want to learn how to use, let's connect. www.Simplify.Fitness, and we can look at a more personalized, customized online routine for you.